When someone says 2019, what first thing comes to your mind? For me, it's a flood of bad games, an eruption of isekai manga, and the last, an avalanche of a bad light novel anime adaptation. And bad light novel adaptation. Oi! Bad light novel adaptation! Well, there's always some gems here and there, like always. But for some reason, this year is full of so many bad pieces of entertainment. Seriously. So when I hear that one of my favorite manga going to get animated, the first thing I do was praying, hoping it didn't go as bad as the other series. Like that one, that one, that one, and of course that one. Also that one too. Other people can say it's not bad, and yes, it's not that bad. But for people like me who read the source material, it felt underwhelming. Mostly on the visual side. It lacks something. Like, maybe, just maybe, personnel, funding, and also love from the studio. Now let's talk about the main topic. Assassin's Bride, like other many anime nowadays, is an adaptation of a light novel that also got a manga version. The story itself is what you can call a template. But Rakudai Kishi already proved that even a template can be turned into a good series, as long as the execution is good enough. And in my honest opinion, both the light novel and the manga have done a good job of executing those templates. The light novel is filling the reader with a lot of details on how the worlds work, how the people inside that world think, and how messed up the situation our character in. The manga, while cutting some corners, still able to preserve a lot of detail from the original material while also upgrading the visual of the original illustration. In my honest opinion, Gufa looks cooler and Melida looks cuter in the manga version. So, how about the anime? Indeed, how about the anime? I kind of feel conflicted by it too actually. While it's not bad, it also kinda not so good. I can say it was great. For some reason, I kinda get a feeling there's a weird disconnect between how the anime and manga interpret the material. Maybe it's just me, but I feel that the manga tried to portray Melida as a hardworking, unfortunate child, while the anime tried to show us that she is a beautiful girl who can't do anything about her situation. While the two of them, in reality, are kinda the same, but they are inducing a different kind of emotion to the people read or watching them. The first one makes us want to cheer her up, and the second one makes us want to pity her. You can say that the anime preferred to show us the darker view of the story, though their decision to cut some content out of the anime kinda counters their supposed first goal. What's guided me to that conclusion? What has been cut from the light novel and the manga? Well, let's see. First, the comedy part has been cut, making the anime look too quiet, probably to make the anime look more serious. In the first half of the anime, Melida is simply too quiet, even though she is supposed to act cheerful to cover her suffering, which made her look like a defeatist who didn't do anything simply because she doesn't want to. Instead, a weak person who desperately wanted to become strong. In the manga, the introduction part started by showing how she is still full of hope, dream, energy, and a stock of lively expression which somewhat silly, showing that she is trying to look cheerful even though we all know that her life is full of hardship. I mean, just look at that face. Compared to that, the anime hardly shows us Melida's personality in the introduction part. We just presented with hardly any notable expression from her face. And when we did see her expression, it was either fear, confusion, or despair. Second, we skipped some important parts and replaced it with a scene of humiliation. Something that I didn't want to see on top of it not even actually exists in the source material. In other words, this scene exists solely to humiliate Melida. Because of this, we miss a lot of things. A thing like a proof that Melita is actually working very hard to polish her sword skill. A thing like how our admiration for Kufa started blooming. A thing like the fact that she didn't want to be pitied, instead of indirectly asking to be pitied by the viewer. A thing that shows us that she is not dumb. A thing that she has the heart of a diamond. And a thing that she possessed such a strong will that she didn't even want to accept defeat from her teacher. These things are very important things to portray her as not a damsel in distress, but a shonen protagonist in a cute girl's body. The difference between the anime and manga view can be seen very clearly in the next scene. The last part before Kufa saved her in the anime is a part where she shows that she is afraid of not being recognized by her family before crying. But in the manga, the last part before she got saved is where she refused her fate and decided to struggle till the very end and then roared. If the anime stick with the original version, I bet most people would not be so confused about how the heck Kufa changed his heart so quickly. Because the original plot didn't make you, or me, feel, this girl is so beautiful, and instead make us feel, I want to help her. I want all of her hard work, blood, and sweat to actually produce something. Those feelings similar to when you see a certain boy cry. Because like I've said before, this series is actually a shonen manga, but with a cute girl. For the third one, it's just a general complaint. The underwhelming mana transfer process. While the alteration of the mana transfer process didn't really affect the overall story, it still makes the plot kind of felt shallow. The mana transfer lacked any impact. The anime explains that mana transfer carried some risk, but that's just it. We didn't see the suffering she felt on both her mental and physical body by putting some random imaginary space. I love the music though. The mana transfer only has 50-50 chance of success rate. You can die from mana transfer, you can turn into a monster, and the process is very painful. By removing some scenes from this part, we can really feel that she is actually mustering so much courage to make the decision. Not to mention, we can see Kufa's side of things too. And finally in the last, the kiss scene is not hot enough. That's a very important thing. I really want these scenes got animated. Honestly, I still have a lot to talk about, but let's get it here. I plan to review both episode 2 and 3 too, but I'm afraid of making this video even longer. So let's save them for later. Let me know what you think about this series below in the comment section, and to be further updated on anime news, reviews, and discussion, stay tuned right here on Wait. Wrong channel! Switch! Wait, not this here. Switch! We're not sponsored by anyone. This video is made possible by but the hard work of the people shown on the screen right now. Visit us by clicking the link in the description. Thanks for watching. See you later.